Good morning, everyone. How are you all? Happy Monday. Hope you all had a good weekend. A few hours ago on the DAZN boxing channel, on DAZN on your Skybox on your TV, or DAZN boxing channel on YouTube, they released the full-length face-off between Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua, or Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou, I suppose it would be titled, hosted by Ade Oladipo. First off, let's talk about the sort of mannerisms and the way they presented themselves and the way they came over. Anthony Joshua came over very businesslike, as he likes to do sort of recently. He held the gaze a lot of times. He was eyes on Francis Ngannou, very kind of businesslike. He did relax and sort of loosen up a little bit towards the end, but he came very businesslike, looking very focused, very confident. Anthony Joshua came across that way. Francis Ngannou is a very different personality, isn't he? Francis Ngannou, he's very happy, very smiley, very sort of appreciative of his position. He's in a good place. He doesn't hold the gaze particularly long. I don't think Francis Ngannou, he's just not that type of personality. There's nothing to read into that. He's just a different. He's a different psychology to Anthony Joshua, isn't he? Different personality. He's not one for the staring out, for holding the gaze. He'll happily drop the stare and go to Ade and vice versa. So yeah, they were the two sort of mannerisms. That was the way in the way their personalities came across in this. Anthony Joshua said he was offered the Ngannou fight earlier, I think pre the Fury fight, to which he turned it down. He said it was kind of a bit of not a gimmick fight, but it was a crossover and not really something he was interested in. But then he went on to say, obviously, post the Fury fight, when it seemed that Francis Ngannou was a serious challenge and posed sort of definite threat. He was legitimate, shall we say, that he then sort of accepted that as a challenge. He said he accepts all challenges. He doesn't turn down a challenge. Francis Ngannou went on to say, now, I said this in the build-up to the Fury fight, that when everyone was saying about Francis Ngannou being a complete novice, yes, in terms of professional fights he was, but in terms of boxing he wasn't. Francis said that from a young boy all the way through till he moved to Europe, till he moved to France. His intention was to become a professional boxer and to make his way in boxing, but sort of opportunities were limited, and an opportunity arose to go down the MMA route, so he's almost diverted into MMA rather than that was being his sole intention from the start. This is what he said, and this is what I pointed out in my video, sort of pre and post the Fury fights, which not a lot of people sort of done their homework or picked up on, or just follow fighters from the outset. So he went on to say that. And then he said he saw MMA moving into MMA. He always intended that at some point, even if he moved into MMA, an opportunity would present itself if he got to a certain status in MMA, that it would help him make the transition into boxing, which is now what he has done. And this is where we are now at this point in his career. Francis went on to say that he thought Tyson Fury was a more resilient fighter. Not in the fact that, and because Anthony Joshua pointed out how many times Tyson Fury had been on the floor, which Francis said that wasn't what he meant. What he meant was that he had been on the floor, but he'd always got up. And he went on to say that Tyson Fury had been on the floor from a shot that no one would have got up from, essentially, and he got up. And this is why this was his opinion of Tyson Fury. The knockdown we're talking about, I'm assuming, was one of the two knockdowns, I suppose, against Tyson Fury, either the one at the end of the first fight or the one that sent the shockwave through Fury's body in the second or third fight. I'm sure you'll let me know. In that, so he felt that sort of what he was trying to say, I assume, is that Fury had the better chin in terms of, yes, he gets knocked down, but his powers of recovery are not better. Joshua went on to say, when have I ever been knocked down like that? And been, people will go to the Ruiz fight, but yes, as we know, he got up in the Ruiz fight, was stopped on his feet. It was kind of asked how they fought it was all right. He said, Ade asked why the fight was 10 rounds or 12, or whether it was 10 rounds or 12. Francis said that was his decision. They offered him 12, and he said basically no, as I am still essentially a 2-fight novice, a novice in terms of how many fights he's had. He said he wanted 10 rather than 12. Obviously, he's still getting used to the 3-minute rounds of boxing and the 10-round distance, so he didn't want to do 12 straight off. They were both asked how the fight would go. Obviously, Francis Ngannou said that Styles made fights, and although he wanted the knockout, he wouldn't go for the knockout. The knockout, when you go for the knockout, essentially a lot of times it doesn't come. It's more of a natural thing. It's more of an organic thing. So he wouldn't go for the knockout, though certainly he would sort of not look for the knockout, but certainly if the opportunity arose, that's how he would like the fight to finish. Anthony Joshua said pretty much the same. Francis went on to say that styles make fights and that he thought the Joshua fight would be easier for the reason that Tyson Fury's style is more unpredictable and less orthodox, where Anthony Joshua is more orthodox and does the basics very well. And Anthony Joshua went on to sort of reiterate that and said he does the basics very well. It's very good. It's like I said, it's on his own channel now. Very interesting. What else can we pick out of that? That is about it, really. Probably forgot some, but I just watched this once, and there were some of the points that stuck out to me. Very quickly, I saw a headline this morning as well that said that Jose Suleiman is thinking of employing 5 or 6 judges instead of 3 for the Fury v Usyk fight, which, I mean, that could go one way or the other, can't it? That can either be, we can either end up with a more unanimous spread of cards, or we can end up with a larger split in the cards, can't we? So, I mean, it does invite room for, more, sort of more controversy in the scoring, doesn't it? Because what are the chances that we end up with a more split, spread of the cards? So who knows? Surely let me know on that. Anyway, that's it. A little video for that today. Not a massive amount, really, of... I like to talk about the things that stick out to me. I don't want to just present stories just because they're there. To me, it's got to have some meaning to me, and I've got to find it a point for discussion. And to me, there wasn't a great deal this week. But anyway, that's it. I'll see you soon. Peace. I'm out.